There is a lot of division in the style community about the color black and how much use it actually has in a man's wardrobe. Chances are, if you come from a certain time, you think that having a black suit is essential and very important to your wardrobe, but more recently, the black suit has not been completely abandoned, but very often charcoal and navy have been chosen in favor of it for business things and special occasions and things like this. I'm going to show you a few less conventional ways that you can add black back into your wardrobe so you can get some use out of those black shoes you've got. This is gonna be about as classic or formal or stylistically conservative as I'm gonna get. Like a lot of my contemporaries, I don't actually own a solid black suit right now. I just felt like it was too stark, and for all of the other options I had in my closet, it was not something I needed. But this one, as you'll see, has a really nice stripe to it that I believe adds a little bit to it, and I think it's a really nice look for super serious events. Since we're talking about stuff you can do with black, you gotta start with the most basic. So I've pulled out very monochrome, just standard. Now I've done a few things that are a little bit less standard. I've got the classic black suit, white shirt, black tie, white square, but I've changed up a few things to make it my own still, because you can still do that. You can always work with things to still have your own aesthetic, even when you're approaching something very classic like this. I chose to do a knit tie instead of just a solid black silk or satin tie, because I think solid silk or satin ties are very boring. I've got my fun little Serious Goose pin from Strike Gently because I love them. I've chosen a bit more of a fun shoe. I've got a really fun double monk strap with a lot of broguing on it that I think is a good bit more interesting than just a plain toe or a lace-up. You're never going to go wrong with a black suit for a formal event, for a wedding. This is good enough for black tie. There is still a lot of wiggle room that you have with this. If you didn't want to do the monochrome, if you wanted to add a little bit more of a pop of color, you can do that with the shirt, the tie, the square, or all three. One of my favorite ways to spice up a black suit like this is to keep all of the other details monochrome and classic. You could add a pop of color in the square. One of my favorite colors to pair with black, of course, is gold. So I've chosen this really lovely Rampley & Company square, which is upside down. Nice work. With things like this, if you want the square to be your standout piece and you're pairing it with black, I like golds, burgundies, purples, greens. I'm not a big fan of putting blue with black, but that is just a personal preference that I have. Do not let me stop you from experimenting with your own aesthetic. So we've discussed the suit. Let me show you a few different other looks. Burgundy, purples, oranges or rusts, pinks, greens. As we go through the video, we're taking very small steps down in formality. So this is still a pretty high level of formality, I think, because it's got the solid black blazer with the gold buttons. It's something a little bit more Ivy League. It's a little bit more old school. If you're going to do a black blazer like this, you need to do contrasting pants, because with the gold buttons, if you try to wear black pants with it, it's going to look like you tried to put a suit together and didn't quite know what you were doing. So I chose a really light gray pair of slacks for a really good contrast, and to dress it down a little further, and this is also very much more of an Ivy League thing, I've chosen these very fun G.H. Bass bit loafers here, which I quite enjoy. And then something that's very common with these sorts of outfits is a nice thick regimental striped tie, and I've gone for our classic white square and this pin that dear friend gave me is a Van Gogh thing. Now, I'm going to show you how versatile a pair of black pants can be. Now, there's a lot of versatility here. Almost any color you can think of. For sport coats, you can put on top of a pair of black pants. It'll work. I don't really go in for blue, and I really don't suggest doing navy with this. But basically any other color that I've already mentioned with the ties and other things are fair game. I've chosen this really light gray blazer here because I like the way that the buttons work with the tie and the other stuff I've picked out. I hope this lets you know that you can have a lot more fun wearing black clothes, and you can use a lot more of it in your wardrobe than you thought.
Any last words?
Forgot it. I forgot it. I'll leave it with this. Generally speaking, when you have any kind of black in your outfit, whether it's a full black suit or a black pant or just a black tie and black accessories, you're probably going to want to wear black shoes. So I've got my black loafers on again, but when you're wearing your black shoes, you're going to want to pair your leathers. You're going to want to coordinate your leathers. I'm a suspender guy, or a braces guy. When I've got black shoes, I'm going to have my black suspenders, and then we can put that in somewhere. So I've chosen one of my, I've knocked out my, well, that's going to go on the, that's going to go on the, that's going to go on the blooper reel. That's going to go on the blooper reel.